Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our presentation. Thank you for being here. We would like to sum up results of Budimex for 2024, and we will start with a short record that will show our achievements from the previous year. Budimex, we are changing the world. Operational profits 744 million zlotys profitability. Contracts signed, record order book. Dividend. Projects in Poland. Value of the projects over 2 billion zlotys. Warsaw West Railway Station. Bus station in Lublin. Railway station hub in Gdynia. Railway station Czechowice-Dziedzice, Tri-City bypass. We are developing in the sector of military projects, being one of the key contractors in that segment. We've started the first residential project in joint venture model in Poznań. In 2024, we signed a number of important contracts, reinforcing our position on the market. We are also reinforcing our position on foreign markets, being present in Germany, Slovakia, Czechia, and Latvia. We are expecting the increase of foreign markets in our order book. We signed one of the most important railway projects, Rail Baltica in Latvia. We have pre-qualified for the next stage of this project in Estonia. Last year, our activity was prized in many competitions. 9 Budimex projects received construction Oscar awards, and 2 projects received international prizes. As a responsible business partner, we listen to our stakeholders. We're an active member of local communities. We understand our impact on climate. In 2024, we reached recycling of soil on our project at the level of 99%. In Budimex Mobility, we are developing modern solutions for transport and infrastructure, supporting long-term diversification strategy of the group. BXF Energia has ongoing projects of a total power of 1.7 gigawatts. A huge part of the energy that we buy on the market comes from renewable energy sources. We also support the development of the future technical staff of our company. We are already collaborating with more than 50 universities and technical high schools. The year 2024 has been a very important year for Mostostal Kraków. That has been a year of qualification for a nuclear energy project. Our company FBES service reached 937 million zlotys of revenues. We have invested over 10 million zlotys in the development of our staff. We have a strong company culture with values such as responsibility, ambition, and among others. We are a leader of this market. After 20 years, Budimex is again a member of VIC Index. It proves that our activity is positively perceived for the market. We face the future with optimism and courage, reinforcing the position of Budimex as a leading construction company in Eastern and Central Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my team. Anna Karyś on my left, member of the board and HR director. Next to her, Cezary Wysenko, member of the board responsible for infrastructure, general construction, and hydrotechnical construction. Maciej Olek, responsible for railway and energy construction. On my right, CFO of the Budimex Group, Maciej Węgłowski, and next to him, Jacek Lech, CEO of Mostostal Kraków, and Alvaro Garcia, CEO of FB Service. 2024 was a special year for our company. We executed many important projects that helped us to maintain the leading position on the market. Before presenting detailed results, I would like to focus on four numbers and some achievements from the year 2024. We would like to show you the record-breaking portfolio, 70.8 billion, 36% increase year to year. It is due to a great number of contracts signed. Contracts signed the previous year reached the level of 12.5 billion. Contracts signed on foreign market also will be increasing in the future. We have improved our operational result that reached the level of 8% comparing to 8.2% in the year 2023. As far as key events are concerned, let me remind you that in the first quarter we entered VIC 20 index. Thank you for this honor and for your trust. We came back to this index after 20 years. We also started our activity in residential market, initiating a project in Poznań, including 400 apartments. We've already acquired another plot that will enable us to build 100 apartments. In the second quarter, we bought a photovoltaic project We want to initiate generation of energy from that project. And our main shareholder, Ferrovial, entered Nasdaq. During the third quarter, we received the first order from Westinghouse related to the construction of a nuclear energy project. That's the order awarded to Mostostal Kraków, and we are still creating a bigger order book with our client PSE. The fourth quarter, so we were pre-qualified for the second stage of construction of Rail Baltica in Estonia. We got the biggest number of points in pre-qualifications. We are preparing ourselves for the signature of that contract, and then as 19 and 17, we've won some sections, and the railway station Somonino. We are starting from inflation and GDP. In 2024, GDP was a little bit disappointing. The year 2025 means some acceleration. The main driver will be national demand and infrastructural projects. Inflation seems to be under control. The interannual inflation was at the level of 3.6%. Right now, we assume that it will overpass 5%, and in the second half of the year should decrease as far as interest rates are concerned. With the inflation reaching almost 5%, the interest rate remains at an unchanged level. Those interest rates won't support the development of GDP in the next years. As far as PMI indicator is concerned, it has increased. Between December and January, we have this increase from 48.6 to 50.6. So it indicates expectations for the economy development. Looking at the construction and assembly production, we can see a reduction by 7.7. It differs obviously in different segments of construction. In specialized construction, it's almost of 10%. It has affected our sales. January 2025, a big increase, 4.3. It's difficult to say if it will maintain, but it's optimistic. We'll see how the whole year will go and how will the year 2025 finish. As far as fixed prices are concerned, the inflation helps. We count that the year 2025, as far as the construction assembly production is concerned, will increase. The program announced by the Prime Minister last month will obviously help regarding big projects in infrastructure. It will be almost 700 billion zlotys invested in infrastructure.
As far as the margins, we don't have a full year data, only the first half of 2024. The decrease of the construction and assembly production caused the decrease of the margins practically at every level of the companies, between big companies, medium and small companies. I think this whole year is going to enhance this decline. As far as the data for 2024, but in 2025 it depends on the starting of the infrastructural investments in the sector. Situation in the construction segment from the perspective of man-force, employment costs, which is maintaining at the same level. People are much more optimistic as far as the lack of qualified personnel. There are less companies that see this as an obstacle. The same happens with material costs. We have a decrease from 73 to 49%. The competition on the market remains stable. Uncertain economical situation, in spite of this geopolitical situation, has improved from 69 to 42. Remember that these are obstacles. The lower the value, the better the situation. Now, going to prices of selected materials, which have stabilized. And I'm talking about steel, asphalt, and fuel. The one exception is the concrete, which is under control of the producers. So the price is going up in spite of the construction production going down. Thank you very much, Marcin. And now going to financial results. Let me dedicate some time to remind you of our organizational chart, to remind you that our group is not only Budimex SA, these are other companies. We show this to you every time we have this presentation, so let me mention the companies that have appeared, the new companies. Azalea company, photovoltaic farm, and we want to start to produce energy in the next quarter. And Budimex Development, our residential company, where we have one project ongoing and another one in progress, both in Poznań. What is very important, that we have more than 7,500 people working for our companies, and subcontractors and suppliers that cause that every day there are more than 20,000 people working on our sites each day. As far as the financial results, we have the revenue of 9,118,000,000 zlotys, which is less than a year ago, but it comes as no surprise. We already mentioned that it's because of the change of the periods of EU funds and because of less tenders in railway especially. We've seen it coming, so we decided to enter the foreign market and also we're trying to enter the financing the construction market. So we are expecting an increase of our revenues, and we want to go back to this increasing trend in the next years. You may see it in our portfolio. Operational profit. It's 8.2%, an increase comparing to 2023. Net profit, we had 7.5% in 2023 and 6.8% in 2024. This goes to the financial activity, the lowering of interest rates of the deposits. And now, financial results by segments. Because of the construction segment, our revenues decreased, as I already said, mainly in the railway sector, and also because some key projects have finished that were in execution phase. Gdynia Port being one of them. So this is why we are seeing this decrease in the revenues. But as our portfolio in railway has been completed, the increase will turn back. EBIT at 8.2%, as I've already said, which is caused by a responsible cost control on our contracts and big diversification, which helps us protect our company against some weird events. I would like to boast our service sector. We've noted an increase of revenues in waste management, in facility management, and also a very good profitability, 8.7%. Cash, for more than 3 years now, the cash in our company is of more than 3 billion. And let me remind you that we've paid an historic dividend last year, but still the level of cash enables us to be optimistic about the future. We are going to talk about some PPP projects in Czechia where we want to be the investor, and this is giving us this starting point to the development of the company. And now, going to the dividend. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 16 years when we've been paying dividend. We have this strategy of paying 100% of benefit to our stockholders. We will continue this strategy. And you may see here that our dividend is not a one-off event. Our benefits have been stable, and we share our benefits with our stockholders. And now the order book. 2025 has been historic. We've signed 12.5 billion zlotys in contracts, which is an impressive growth, especially for the road sector. And also for the railway sector, which is important because, as you see, the last years, this sector was in reduction, let's say. It was the contracts were in decline. but we managed to change the situation. We signed 3 big railway contracts that sum up to 2.8 billion zlotys. What's more important, it's hydrotechnical contracts, the blue line, where we are a leader, but unfortunately there were much less tenders in this sector, so we didn't get any. Wody Polskie only put on the market tenders of the value of 250 millions, and we count on them to give some more activity, obviously, considering what happened last year. There are new investments in reservoirs, and I would like to remind you that we built the Racibórz reservoir that saved some part of our land from the flood. And apart from the contract we've signed that sum up to 12.8 billion, we still have 7.7 billion awaiting signature, and we count on signing those contracts in the first quarter. 2.1 billions are the contracts with the highest valuation from the client, and 4.8 is Rail Baltica. And now, as far as the whole order book, we have historic data here, 17.8 billion, two-thirds being new contracts valued at actual prices with indexation clause, which gives us some stability for our benefit. Even if there is an increase in prices, we may mitigate that. What is more important, some of those contracts are of many years. We have 2 tunneling contracts, one for railway, another one for the road, which are of 5 years. Also, we have this Rail Baltica contracts in Estonia, which gives us some secure order book, which gives us almost 50% of work for 2025, 33% for 2026, and 20% for 2027. What I want to repeat that there is a very intensive competitivity in the market. Our other companies have bought some machinery, have recruited some personnel, and there are many more tenders placed in each tender announced, even for the big ones. So we are very happy that the European Tribunal has dictated this this judgment that each company needs to present some additional documentation for those kind of contracts. So, speaking of our portfolio, we have Kościerzyna Somonino for more than 1 billion, Limanowa Klęczany 800 million, S17 Expressway 700 million, S10 570 million. But my colleagues will tell you more about their most important contracts. I will not mention all of those. So, passing through the road segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2024 for construction market was a especially stable year. We reached 4 billion zlotys of production, and even a little bit more. On the slide, you can see on your left the contract signed by GDK, and we went back to the level of the year 2020. We will talk about the future next, but we as Budimex in 2024 signed 6.2 billion zlotys in roads. Our order book to be executed has over 10 billion zlotys, 10.2 in roads. So it gives us work for the next 3 years, even if we stop bidding. And I would like to underline that we bid in almost all tenders, but we are very, very reasonable preparing our bids. We don't participate in this price war, but even though from time to time we are selected as winners of the tender, signing more contracts. Last year, we signed 6 of 8 S10 expressway from Szczecin to Piła. This section will be signed and executed by Budimex. We'll also execute one of the sections of S19 expressway, including a tunnel. In 2024, we had a good production. We still lack construction permits for some of the projects. We've informed you about this fact in the past. I guess that's all for me. Now going to the railway sector. I guess you can hear me now. Good morning. As far as the railway market is concerned, we had a very good year. We achieved the goals that we had established. The first one was the recovery of our order book that in previous years suffered a little bit due to the lack of financing. We signed almost 3 billion zlotys of contracts. And the second goal, ending our key projects, Port Gdynia, Ełk Station, it's a Polish part of Rail Baltica. Czechowice-Dziedzice was finished between 2023 and 2024, and then Zachodnia Railway Station and Port Gdynia. 2024 was a year of first revenues coming from Rail Baltica in Latvia. Due to the specifics of this contract and implementation by sections and this formula, early contractor involvement, it's still not very visible in our results, but we will talk about its possible influence in 2025. We also increased our possibility of executing the contracts with our own sources, also with our own equipment, among others, equipment for transport of aggregates. Rail BX company operating in Germany had also quite a good year because it was the first year that it didn't lose money and managed to maintain its self-executing projects for Deutsche Bahn. We can evaluate this year as quite good. The important fact is that those contracts are quite diversified. The first contract for PKP PLK for the catenary, not a typical railway contract for us. So, step by step, we want to broaden our competences also in this field. Going to the general construction product, despite a difficult year in general construction in 2024, our division reached 2 billion zlotys of production and contracts signed at the level of 1.9. The order book structure has changed. The biggest part are public contracts, not residential and industrial projects. The order book that we have is of 2.9 billion zlotys, but we are still developing new competencies in the framework of that division. We have developed first project of thermal modernization according to European regulation. We are also developing on. We are developing a project in joint venture in the framework of residential market, and we are also developing military projects. Can you please tell something more about those military projects? Well, we all know what is going on in the politics. So, the decision of the government to spend 4.7% of GDP on defense is for us as contractors a very important information and a good information because a big part of it will be spent on construction projects in the field of military construction. We have almost 1.5 billion of military contracts developed in different locations. You can see investments planned by the Ministry of Defense. These are almost 10 billion zlotys. It's a very important information for Budimex because our competencies in this field have increased. That kind of contracts are executed with the necessity to have certificates to access restricted, confidential, secret, and top secret information, and we have such certificates. We have restricted, confidential, secret, NATO secret, among others, so we can participate in such contracts. It's a huge opportunity for a future development. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I would like to add something more. Last week, it was announced that 30 billion zlotys will be transferred from recovery plan to defense budget We would like to participate in this budget, especially taking into account our competencies. Ladies and gentlemen, now moving to foreign markets. After 2 years, our revenues in those markets are over 600 million. I would like to mention all of those markets. Czechia and Slovakia, we have a couple hundreds employees over there. A huge part of them are locals, so we are very happy to work in this diversified environment. We think in a long-term perspective about this market. We see that there is a big number of projects, even comparing it to Poland, that is the biggest construction site in Europe. So we are focusing on the Czech market. We are bidding right now for the 45 PPP project, and our bid, as far as the experience and the staff is concerned, has obtained the highest evaluation. These PPP projects are long-term projects, and it takes time to get them awarded. We are also working on some other PPP projects in Czechia right now. They are thinking about fast railway, high-speed railway. So we want to participate in this market as well. Let's take right now Latvian market. Maciej has spoken about it. We have to talk about Latvian and Estonian market together. So we are participating right now in the next stage of Rail Baltica tender, this time in Estonia. It's executed in alliance formula, sharing risk with the client. I would like to underline the collaboration with Mostostal Kraków that has been very active on foreign markets. Mostostal Kraków also supplies steel structures to Sweden, Norway, England, many other countries, not only those where Budimex is present. So now going to our companies, we will start with FD Service of Alvaro.
Thank you very much. 2024, ladies and gentlemen, was a very good year for FP Service. The revenues have been at record level, 937 million, which is a joint effect of three activities. We have environmental services, when we increased our revenues in 60 million. On the other half, we decreased our revenues in road maintenance in 25 million. But this is due to our decision to stop executing small building construction contracts. So if you compare the data for 2024 and 23, while eliminating the effect of those contracts and the sales of road sold, there has been an increase in the revenues. Also, EBITDA is at the higher level than in 2023, and EBIT at 94 million, in spite of not very good situation and economic upturns in the market. Also, facility management and street lighting helped us develop those results. Our net cash position is very good too, a record-breaking number, which is due to our cash policy. And now, to sum up all the events that happened in 2024, as I've already said, we have a record revenue, PBT, very good, 100 million, and cash. During 2024, we signed 949 million of contracts, and almost 600 million are due to 5 big contracts. Maintenance of Wrocław, when we renewed contracts for 2 areas. We signed the collection of waste for Poznań in 2 areas when we renewed our contracts, and also one tender for Winogrady. Also, I would like to remind you 2 relevant contracts that we signed with GDDK for road maintenance for the next 4 years for the total amount of 165 million, which is Busko-Zdrój and Kielce. And now, towards the 2025 that has already started, the portfolio is satisfactory, 967 million, comparable to the values we tend to maintain in our company. There is a great challenge for this year. We have quite high capex expenditures for this year. We are going to reform our waste treatment installations. Our goal for this year is to maintain profitability in spite of the changes of the portfolio. We were more focused in big cities, but considering changes that are happening in the market, we focus more on smaller cities. And also, I would like to add that our waste management activity is carried out via 11 companies where we are going to implement our operational system that helps us manage the activities. And now Jacek, Mostostal Kraków. Hello, everyone. Just like in FB Service, 2024 was very good for Mostostal Kraków. We've reached our goals in the development and in operational numbers. The revenues were of 805 million, which is an increase from 2023. We had 95 million of cash. At the end of 2024, EBIT was of 29 million zlotys. Also, I would like to add that we have a big exposition to euro, and thanks to our hedging, we could generate 12 million in financial operations. Also, the important part is that many of our revenues come from external market. That shows that our strategy, which included diversification, is giving us some profits that are reflected in the margin. As far as our activity in external markets, we export a lot of steel structure to European, not only European markets. We export steel structure to every continent, but our operational activity, which is supply and assembly, these is concentrated in the Baltic states, Sweden, Norway, and Germany. And in the Baltic countries, we are supplying a big bridge in Kaunas, Lithuania. The whole structure has been manufactured in Konstalex and transported to Kaunas. These Baltic states are markets with a very good perspective. We're working on winning some more tenders also for Rail Baltica. I hope we could boast of some more projects in this market. As far as Sweden, you've seen on this video Avicii Arena in Stockholm, our contract, which was supply and assembly and was a success. And our team is trying to get some more contracts on those markets, and I hope we can tell you about more projects very soon. Germany, our key market, we have 2 incineration plants. We're starting with the assembly of steel structure in Ulm, which is a very important market for us with a very good perspective. And we are investing in human resources to get some more contracts, 5 or 6, especially for bridges. Also, we want to dedicate this year for certification, to gain some certificates that will let us participate in the tenders for Deutsche Bahn, German railway. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now, market and perspectives. 2024 is already finished. We would like to show you the short-term perspective for our company, which are based on big investment programs. We have 9 key programs announced by the government. The Prime Minister announced 650 billion of investment, which is very enticing. It all sums up to 1 trillion. And also we're showing the advance stage of each program, which is not very big in any of those programs. So, considering all this, the key idea is to continue with the diversification in the energy sector, for instance. Obviously, we are very present and very active in the road segment. In the railway segment, we're executing the preparation works and launching chamber for CPK, which is very interesting for us, that the whole construction process will be financed by the state. Also, there are some projects in energy. Polish grid operator is going to be very active. There are some investments expected. As you've seen, we are participating in a small project for a nuclear power plant. Also, we're considering a cooperation in offshore projects. Obviously, to fulfill those programs, we need EU funds. We have two key projects: Connecting Europe Facility and Phoenix program, which are based on infrastructure, which is important for us. If you compare the last budget to this budget, these funds are very similar: 26 billion euros comparing to 24 billion euros, but also Connecting Europe facility that grew from 28 to 32 billions. What is important that this program of financing by the EU is very profitable. There's a huge subvention, but what we would like to mention that it's important to find some stable financing source. With the budget changes we see in the railway market, that there are some turbulences during this transition, and what we see is that Poland needs investment, and we need to attract more businesses to invest in Poland. So we would like to recommend to our clients the PPP formula, which has proven to be efficient in Czechia. Also, if we see the operational goals of Budimex for 2025-26, obviously we want to maintain the leadership of the Polish market. We want to continue our growth in the foreign markets. We are going to work on PPP projects. We want to continue our presence in strategic projects such as nuclear technology and Polish grid. Also, the general construction is important for us. We're going to build some residential flats, some residential buildings. Obviously, military is very important. And the other one is the renewables and data centers. We have been active in the renewable energy sector for 2 years now. We have 1 gigawatt of energy in our projects ready to launch. And now, the road market. What was very important for us was that the GDDK and the ministry confirmed that the national road program is going to be maintained. This is the biggest program in the history. You may see how the expenditures are planned until 2030. And between 2031 and 33, there are going to be 76 billion of zlotys to spend. These are the spendings of GDDK in time. The tenders sum up to between 50 and 60% of all this. For us, what's important is that GDDK for this year is expecting to announce tenders for 330 kilometers of 13 billion zlotys, which gives us some stability. And now, railway. In the railway sector, we are awaiting the execution of two gigantic investment programs, PKP-PLK investment program and the railway component of CPK. 100 billion zlotys is the sum that PKP is going to spend. Our hope is to place tenders with our efficiency of 15%, just like up to this moment. But as we've already said, there's some lack of long-term financing for those projects if the EU funds are smaller than in the last years. And our experience shows us that without EU funds, the mechanism of financing is not so stable. An investment in this sector is a key to green transportation. In terms of CPK, 142 billion for the whole project CPK, including the railway component of 70 billion. We're waiting a detailed program of all tenders related to this project. We see that this year there are going to be 4 billion of works regarding this project. We are executing one project for CPK, which is a launching chamber in Łódź. Also, we are very interested in the participation of this project. There are some ideas to provide financing by PPP or joint venture project. We are also open to these possibilities. Challenges on the market, a big competition. There are between 15 and 16 tenders in each project. Of course, there are some state-owned companies that participate in tenders too, and they won most of the projects. And as we've already said, it would be good to provide some stable financing for long-term execution planning. This market requires some investment in the machinery. We've bought new machinery, but are already thinking about replacing our railway machines. So we need some perspective, some clear perspective to make that decision. But in general, as far as long-term, short-term, and medium-term perspectives for this market, they are very good. And now, going to the perspectives in external markets, we have this big contract in Estonia, 940 million euros. Also, we expect some movement in German market, some recovery in terms of financing, and we want to continue our diversification via this market. And now, energy sector.
As far as the energy segment is concerned, we can see two main drivers. The first one is modernization of the grid infrastructure for PSE. In December of 2024, the development program for grid lines was approved. And modernization of some installations related to this infrastructure. So there are some investment projects, among others, of Energa, with financing coming from ERB, among others. The second driver will be nuclear energy. We have had first successes, not related to the construction of the nuclear plant itself, but we've signed a contract related to the construction of roads leading to that nuclear plant. Mostovska Kraków has an order signed with Westinghouse as well, and we are waiting some project in the framework of the of the nuclear plant itself. There is still a lot of to do. There are still talks with the EU regarding public help for that project, which will then allow the EPC contract to be signed. And of course, there is this essential element of Polish content in the project. We are trying to be a member of this project as a Polish company. We want that kind of project to count with a local content, so that the Polish companies hiring Polish staff, paying taxes in Poland, could be present in them and earn money. It's not only about Polish content. It's very important to work on other elements of the formula. The dialogue with the partners, with the client, the transparency, those projects related to the energy transformation mean more than 700 billion zlotys of investments. So the dialogue is really needed in that field. that as the history has shown, the dialogue with PKPPLK and GDDK is crucial, and I'm sure that this time it will be also efficient. Now, going to the residential sector, we have started the first residential project since we sold Budimex Nieruchomości. 75% is our share. The rest belongs to Capital Group. We started the sale of apartments. It's going very well, even though the residential market doesn't go with that same dynamics as before. But I think that Budimex is known for its punctuality in delivering projects and its quality. So Poznań already belongs to us, and now we are working on plots in other locations, Gdańsk, Kraków, Wrocław. I hope that during next conferences we'll be able to tell you something more. So now going to renewable energy sources, we have two ongoing projects. One, Magnolia, two turbines with 7 megawatts of energy. In September, we produced our first energy. We are selling energy in a PPA contract to an external client. Camellia project is another of those ongoing projects. And we are finishing Azalea project. We want to launch it this year. But talking about green energy, I want to focus on some other elements. The price of the energy is something crucial for Poland. There are many private investors that would like to invest in green energy, but it's problematic as we have problems with obtaining connection to power lines. The grid obviously requires some modernization, but what we would like to ask is to make those procedures simpler and faster as well. And obviously, conditions for this connection to the grid. Many decisions that were issued are not implemented. There are many annexes signed to those decisions that are not implemented, and it blocks the possibility of connection for other investors. So we would like to have those decisions more precise, which will allow the execution of their fulfillment. Because right now many companies only apply for the decisions and then they look for an investor without implementing the project, which blocks the opportunities for other companies. Budimex Mobility, at the end of the year, we had 184 chargers, 23 still were pending the acceptation, the approval. Those approvals are being issued gradually, but very important news from the previous year. We are already executing projects co-financed from EU funds. So we received 9 authorizations to locate chargers along key roads and highways. We are working on more than 500 locations for our chargers, but what is taking more time is to get approvals to connect uh, to the grid. As I informed you during the previous conference, we are working on some strategy options for this company, as we want it to be more and more attractive for the clients. So now we are going to CSR and ESG. I will give the floor to Anya. So we are trying to fulfill our goals for the years 2024 2026. I will only describe the most important elements. So, talking about the environmental area, almost 100% energy obtained from the market comes from renewable sources. Uh, Another element, almost 100% of the soil waste is recycled on Budimex sites. Last year, we ran many campaigns. One of them was Green Fleet. Right now, almost 92% of our fleet meets the highest emission standards. We also perform Green April campaign, planting 10,000 trees in Celestino Forest District. We had also our ESG autumn campaign, um, offering training for our employees, and another campaign on emergency response in environment. Last year, we managed to implement a tool counting our carbon footprint, and then we receive an award called a Laurel in the field of green transformation. Let's go to the social area. We have two important parts here: trainings and development, and then H&S and well-being. So, talking about training as development, we conducted many activities supporting diversity, the diversity month, then women in construction, our internal conference Women Inspire, with more than 400 women participating in it, with a very good feedback from participants. So we will certainly repeat that kind of activities. In the framework of development and diversity support, we also participate in different foreign internship and scholarship programs in the Ferrovial Group. In the international program of mobility, 11 people went abroad for different internships. Supporting education and diversity, last year we hired 360 people, students coming from universities and technical high school in the framework of apprenticeships, internships. 23 students were Ukrainian students. We conducted a lot of trainings. Last year, we tried to develop our leadership in the company, and apart from our programs like Super Leader or First Time Manager, we introduced next programs supporting competencies of our managers, perspectives, and leadership academy. As far as H&S is concerned, every year we uh, organized Safety Week on our sites and in our headquarters with over 12,000 participants. These were very different activities and campaigns, not only for our employees, but also for subcontractors' employees. Supporting agendas, we organized more than 600 top management visits on sites and uh, inspections on sites as well. Uh, and now talking about well-being, well, we organized in 8 of our locations some medical tests for over 2,500 employees. We organized Pink November, Pink October, and Blue November campaign for women and men, supporting cancer fight and cancer prevention, and many charity events also took place last year, among others the third edition of Home from the Heart. We handed over a new house for a person who lost her home in a fire. We opened some parent zones in new hospitals, among others in Bratislava, and we also organized some new editions of Hello Eyes program, training almost 4,000 kids in safety of traffic. And now governance.
Last year, we've introduced a business partner code that defines responsible management of chain of suppliers standards and also environmental and social standards. We introduced a manual on conflict of interest and implemented the strategy of compliance that consisted in training for more than 2,000 people. And also there was an informational campaign, Compliant. We published ethic code and conducted the corresponding information campaign. Also, we fulfilled the annual audit plan. For more details concerning the fulfillment of our ESG goals, you might find in our ESG report for 2024 that is soon to be published. Thank you very much. And to sum up, 2024 has been very good. We enter 2025 with a record-breaking portfolio that lets us place some well-considered tenders. Also, our net cash lets us invest and look for some opportunities on the market to diversify. We also want to find possibilities to continue our diversification into some areas such as data center or renewables. Thank you very much. We're here for you to hear your questions. So we will pass to the questions and answer Q&A sessions. My name is Michał Wrzosek. I'm the spokesman of Budimex. First, we invite people present in the room to ask some questions, and please present yourself. Darek Nawrot, Noble Securities. You've shown in your presentation and told that you expect some increase in revenues of how many digits the increase is going to be. This year of 1 digit, the increase is going to be of 1 digit. And next year depends on many factors. We would like to go back to stable growth of between 6 and 8% year on year. So this is the goal we have for this year. Obviously, the next years, considering the projects are going to be finished, this is going to increase more. So it's not very probable that you surpass 10 billions. I think it's not very probable. You were talking about similar profitability. Was it operational profitability or net profitability? Our key data is operational profitability. So this is the data I would be talking about, because this is the data that shows that we are a stable company. So in that case, consolidated net profit in 2025 by 10, it's not very probable. It all depends on the sales. If we have better sales, we might even have result as good as in 2023. But it depends on the production for 2025. I would like to ask FB Service. You are carrying out the revision of strategic options for FB Service with 4 scenarios taken into account. Can you please tell us which one is the closest, the more probable? The same as with the previous question, it's too early to answer that question. You have to wait for the next conference. All the options are still on the table. You've also mentioned that for Budimex Mobility, you might look for an associate to reinforce to this entity. Is anything happening in that respect? Yes, we've said that, and I repeated that. We are surprised with the interest shown. There are some partners that are willing to talk to us about different possibilities, but we haven't still prepared these options. FB Service, another question. Do you still expect some increase of revenues and profitability this year? Our idea is to have the results similar to those of 2024, but we're now in the process of revision of the budget we prepared for this year, so there may be some slight changes. The perspectives for the market when FB Service is present are very good, and in some short-term perspective, the revenues might really grow. Katarzyna Kapczyńska, Puls Biznesu. Today, the government is going to discuss some law changes to remove obstacles for financing the military investment, the defense investment. Have you participated in that? Have you sent your comments on that? And do you see any possibilities to improve in that matter? You were talking about perspectives, and you said that in Germany they may activate some military investment of 500 billion. Do you take into account participating in military tenders in Germany? As far as your first questions, yes, we do participate in this process of legislation via our association of construction companies. And for the military tenders, the key problem are the procedures. We need to simplify the procedures related to location of the projects and environmental requirements. I think what we need are some special laws, just like the ones that were implemented for road construction one day. And as far as the military sector, there are quite a lot projects in the military sector, not only in Poland, and we would like to be active in that respect. For instance, there's a project in Lithuania for German military, but it's too early to say that we do participate. We are considering the execution of those projects, but what we need to remind is that what is limiting us is our personnel, our human resources, because for those kind of projects, all the staff must be from the NATO countries. So people from Ukraine or other countries cannot participate in this kind of projects, which is a limitation. Only companies with their own resources may participate in those kind of contracts. You mentioned the Association of Construction Companies, Damian Kazimierczak. I will ask some different topic, gas pipes, which is what interests me. These investments are strategic for our country. And my question is if we may be assured that those kind of projects are going to be executed by well-known local renowned companies. Yes, I can confirm that we're still in the game for the gas terminal, FSRU. We are defending some points that were not given to our tender in the evaluation process. We are expecting the arbitration now. And as far as the rest of the question, well, we all should be assured that there are some well-known companies executing those contracts. There is this controversy that there are companies from not from the EU that are executing some strategic contracts. There was the case of Kozienice, where a Turkish company was awarded a contract And we are going to discuss that further, not only in the gas terminal, but in all energy projects, nuclear energy projects, obviously. We are collaborating with other companies present in the Polish market to remind that there is need to the highest participation possible for the Polish companies. Any more questions from the room? If there are none, we may pass to the online questions. Military contracts. Do military contracts have indexation clause? If so, what is the indexation clause? Yes, they do. Normally, they are based on the inflation index. There are two thresholds, 5% and 10%. For what period the military contracts are usually signed? That's the other question. It seems a simple question, but difficult to answer. It's very individual. We've had some contracts for several months, and we have contracts for several years. The average is between 2 and 3 years. Thank you very much. Next questions about investment in the machinery and equipment. What is the investment in the machinery for the next 2 years? I would say a similar level than to last year's. As Maciek Olek said, we're buying some rolling stock for the railway works and getting rid of older machinery. Residential projects. Where do you start to give the keys for the buyers, as we shown in a presentation in 2026? Prices of materials. What are the expectations of the management as far as the material prices in 4 to 6 quarters? Well, I would expect the prices to be as low as possible, but being a realist, of course, this depends on work costs and energy costs, and there is a stabilization we see. So we don't expect any drastic changes for materials, excluding obviously petroleum fuel and oil. The rest of the materials are going to be stable. Are there any new questions from the room? Okay, so let's continue with the questions we received before the conference. Rail Baltica in Latvia and the possible contract in Estonia, do they have indexation clauses, and what is the way of the settlement, financial settlement of those contracts? As far as Rail Baltica, there are 3 different things we shouldn't we shouldn't mix those. Each country has their own formula and rules. And yes, there are some indexation clauses in each one of those contracts, but considering the execution formula, they are different. In Estonia, we're talking about an alliance contract, which makes all risks shared by the contractor, the contracting authority, and the independent engineer. We have a margin index and a bonus over some optimization of indexation budget. In Latvia, there is a formula of indexation special for each segment of the works. In Poland, we have just one formula for all contracts. Here we have a different formula for each segment of the works. Also, Lithuania, there are indexation clauses just like for normal construction contracts, which are very effective. Well, the work program, we started works last year in the first section, and we are preparing to start the works in 4 sections. And we hope to start works in May. There are some next steps and building permits that will be activated when we get full documentation and the documentation gets verified, and then we get to check on those verifications as a contractor, which is characteristic to this early involvement procedure. That's why I would say between the preparation of the documentation and works, it may seem a long time, but that is the formula of the project. The idea is to optimize the execution budget.
Thank you very much for this answer. The next question is related to hydrotechnical segment. What projects the company wants to be involved in, and what are the perspectives, according to you, for that sector? This segment is part of our infrastructure division, and we are present in the biggest site of that kind, Terminal 3 of Baltic Hub. We participate in tenders organized by the Polskie and Gdynia port. We see a big interest in Polish ports as part of the global red of transport and logistics. One of our ports is the 7th port in the world, taking into account the number of containers reloaded. So this sector should be invested in more and more. One of our new projects is the construction of breakwater in our Polish coast. We have finished the construction of the maintenance terminal for wind farms in Świnoujście. We are still present on that market, and we think it has a lot of perspectives. There is a question online: do you expect that the big scale of investments in Poland and in Europe should lower the margins of the company? I don't think so. We treat bidding in a very responsible way. There are indexation clauses. In general, in short term, we don't expect a big increase in the construction and assembly production. We have to see all of that long term. I don't think that short term it will be affecting our work in Poland. Some questions from the room. I would like to ask one thing regarding the military sector. Talking about general construction and its order book, you've mentioned that this military sector equals 1.5 billion zlotys, and you said that it has a lot of perspectives. Can we expect that it doubles or triples? And what term? I said that 1.5 doesn't mean that we still have that value pending execution. Some of that part has been already executed, but we expect overall increase of military projects. So I guess that a huge part of general construction order book will be this military part. To prepare ourselves, we have prepared a special structure for that kind of sites to increase our competencies and to better prepare our bids for future tenders in that field. Thank you very much. And the last question from our online sources. What do you think about HR market, staff market? Do we have sufficient number of employees to execute sites? How do we feel possible deficit? This deficit of employees has been visible for years now in our construction sector, and it's related mainly to qualified employees from railway and energy construction sector. Of course, we have that problem as other construction companies, but it's not hurtful, as I would say. Possible deficiencies of competencies are filled by investing in trainings, in changing employees' specializations, preparing them to run projects in new fields. Obviously, we are also trying to get people from the market, not only from Poland. This deficit also exists in our neighbor countries. On the south, for example. So for sites abroad, we try to hire local staff, but we also provide our own Polish personnel with the opportunity to develop on foreign markets. We are not thinking of hiring people coming from Asia, from Africa, not yet. The migration policy in Poland is not very well organized yet. It's not stable. It doesn't allow us to safely hire people coming from those countries. So I expect that perhaps in that field, those regulations help us in the future to fill that void existing on our Polish market. but we would like to offer a safe workplace for possible employees from foreign countries if we decide to hire them. And one more question: what's the progress of Mostostal Krakow's works in that nuclear energy project? Thank you for the question. So as far as the collaboration with Westinghouse is concerned, as, right now we are at the stage of adaptation of our structures. We have a branch that will carry out this project. We need to certificate this division. We are implementing standards, preparing the staff that will execute this mock-up part. Between the third and fourth order, we should receive the order for the mock-up structure. So it should be enough to get further order. Obviously, at the same time, we are working to get contracts from Bechtel. I guess that this year will bring the first contracts in that field. Are there any other questions in the room? I can't see anyone willing to ask a question, so I would like to thank you for this Q&A session. Thank you very much on behalf of myself and the whole board. I would like to thank you for your time. Those meetings are longer and longer every time because we have more to share, but we are at your disposal if you want to ask something more.